From operating empty flights to the truth about what actually happens to your checked luggage, today's video uncovers industry secrets that airline employees are not telling passengers. The ongoing operation of ghost flights is a secret that airlines try their best to keep quiet, and it's pretty easy to see why. Airlines are assigned specific takeoff and landing slots at major airports, and they must use them or they risk losing them to another airline. A ghost flight is a flight that operates on a regular schedule despite having few or no passengers on board in an effort for the airline to maintain an airport slot or meet some other regulation. During the pandemic, airlines like Lufthansa flew many ghost flights to hold onto the slots despite having no passengers on board. Another example involves Qatar Airways, which still operates ghost flights regularly in Australia to meet regulatory needs rather than actual passenger demand. This practice is definitely controversial, especially given the environmental impact of flying a plane that is nearly empty, and the information could potentially harm Qatar Airways' reputation if it were more widely known. Something else that can impact an airline's reputation is their on-time performance record. And airline staff are not too keen to share that they rig the system to maintain good records by padding their flight schedules. This means they often add a few extra minutes to the expected flight duration and tell passengers a later arrival time than they actually expect. This buffer helps ensure that despite potential delays like bad weather or air traffic, flights are still going to arrive on time and sometimes even early. This practice of padding flight times is more common now than ever since on-time performance is publicly available with annual reports that spotlight the best and the worst airlines for delays and late arrivals. So if you've ever been delayed for 20 minutes before takeoff, yet still arrived as scheduled, this strategy is likely why. It's designed to enhance passenger satisfaction and keep the airline's on-time performance looking better than it actually is. Another secret that airline staff do not want you to know is that they purposely withhold accurate departure information when there is a delay to your flight. While it is definitely annoying, this strategy is going to help manage passenger expectations as well as our reactions to the delay. The importance of on-time performance for airlines cannot be overstated, and it often influences how they handle flight delays. If you find yourself at the gate but you don't see your plane out the window, it's likely because the delay is due to the aircraft arriving late. But even if the gate agents know that the plane is still 2 hours away from the gate, rather than giving an accurate new departure time, gate agents will extend the expected departure in short increments, typically by 20 to 30 minutes. This tactic keeps passengers close to the gate area and ready to board quickly once the aircraft arrives, which helps the airline minimize further delays and maintain their on-time records as best as possible. While it is definitely annoying, this strategy is going to help manage passenger expectations as well as our reactions to the delay. When passengers are told about a short delay, they're less likely to seek alternative flights or demand compensation, which they might consider if they were informed of a longer, more substantial delay right from the start. This approach can reduce the logistical challenges and potential costs associated with rebooking passengers or issuing refunds and compensation. Let us know down in the comments if you have ever been at the airport and had your flight delayed. I would say it happens to me at least half the time that I am flying. And if you are enjoying these secrets so far, then definitely hit that subscribe button as it's a free way to support the channel while also making sure that you never miss out on a travel tip, trick, or hack. Thank you. Airlines also don't want you to know that despite the lack of up-to-date information from the gate agents, you can actually get your live flight status completely on your own. If you have an iPhone, you can send yourself a text with the flight number. This text then turns into a clickable link that shows you exactly where your plane is and the expected arrival time at the gate. And if you don't happen to have an iPhone, the same information can be accessed for free on websites like FlightAware, where you enter your flight number there and you'll be able to see exactly where your plane is. And while the airline would prefer that you didn't know, this hack allows you to better manage your time during a delay. Knowing the realistic new departure time means that you can comfortably grab a meal, use the restroom, or refill your water bottle without the stress of missing the flight. Just make sure to always use a VPN if you are using public airport Wi-Fi to do things like check flight status or any other sensitive tasks like logging into your email account. Airports are hotspots for hackers looking to steal personal information like passwords and credit card details, which is surprisingly easy to do when you are using free public airport Wi-Fi. Also, if you do try to access your accounts from a foreign country, it might trigger a fraud alert, potentially locking you out. Today's video sponsor, NordVPN, helps to secure your online activities as well as lets you choose a virtual location. So even if you are on a layover in Paris, you can appear to be browsing from the United States. It's extremely simple to use, and with just a few clicks, you can connect with NordVPN before you use the airport Wi-Fi, and it's going to protect your data from theft and reduce the risk of account lockouts. As someone that saves both passwords and payment information, I would never connect to airport Wi-Fi without first using a VPN. A subscription to NordVPN can also be shared across multiple devices, and it's going to cost you as little as $3 a month. Check the link in the description to learn more about NordVPN and then get set up before your next trip. A little known airline secret is that even if you booked a basic economy non-refundable ticket, airline staff often have the power to offer you a credit or even in some cases a refund if you decide not to travel. When it comes to non-transferable and non-refundable flight tickets, many travelers will assume that if they need to cancel, they'll simply lose their money. However, there is a lesser-known option that can sometimes work to your advantage, which is calling the airline staff directly to discuss your situation. The success of getting a refund, or even just a flight credit for future use, often depends on your circumstances and how you present them. If you do have a compelling reason, like a medical emergency or a significant family event that was unexpected, the airline customer representatives are more likely to offer some form of credit or repayment. And if the first representative you speak to can't help, it doesn't hurt to politely ask to speak to a supervisor or call back and try with a different agent. Different staff members may respond differently, and supervisors often have more authority to offer solutions. I'm actually supposed to be in France this week, but I did have to cancel my flight last minute due to a family emergency. Everything turned out okay, but thank you for asking. I called Air France a few hours before my flight's scheduled departure, and I had a basic economy ticket that was non-refundable and also would not receive any credit if I was not able to travel. I was persistent on the phone with the Air France representative, and after asking about 10 times, "Is there anything else you can do?" they eventually agreed to give me a credit for the amount of my flight ticket as opposed to losing the full value, which is what I was expecting to happen since I was on a basic economy ticket that was non-refundable. You can also try quoting your status if you are part of the airline's frequent flyer program, as airlines are more inclined to accommodate their loyal customers to maintain a good relationship. Even if getting a full credit isn't possible, you might be able to negotiate a partial credit or a waiver of change fees if you wanted to change the flight. Airline staff know that their policies are way more flexible than they appear, and it's worth pulling out all the stocks to get your money back given how expensive flight tickets can be. Speaking of frequent flyer programs, many passengers are not made aware of an airline secret known as status matching. While airlines have loyalty programs to encourage repeat business, what staff won't advertise is that you can often transfer your status from one airline to another. For instance, if you have gold status with Airline A, you might be able to get gold status with Airline B as well, even if you've never flown with them. This practice of status matching lets you enjoy the benefits of a high status across different airlines, making it easier to switch up who you choose to fly with based on the best deals and routes for your trip. While status matching is a great option for passengers, and it's definitely something that you want to know about if you are a traveler, it is less ideal for airlines as it dilutes the exclusive benefits that are supposed to keep travelers committed to flying with only their airline. Another industry secret is that airline staff are often instructed to minimize compensation when there is a disruption to travel while still offering just enough to keep the passenger happy. Airline customer service representatives will often try to nudge you towards accepting minimal compensation when things don't go as planned. They might offer you a voucher or a future flight credit, and by accepting, you could be waiving your rights to much more substantial compensation, such as a full refund that you were actually entitled to. The Department of Transportation has made it easier to understand your rights by linking to customer care plans of major U.S. airlines right from their website. You can check out these plans to see exactly what compensation you qualify for under different circumstances, and I'll link to this page in the video description for you to check out. If you don't want to sift through these documents yourself, just copy and paste the customer care plans into ChatGPT and ask it to find out what compensation based on the document that you are entitled to for your specific situation. The good news is that new passenger rights are coming into play, which are making it easier and easier for passengers to understand what they are entitled to and get what they deserve without jumping through too many hoops. The Department of Transportation recently announced a rule that ensures automatic and prompt cash refunds for flights if your flight is canceled, significantly changed, or if your bags are delayed. This includes refunds for all of the taxes and fees back to your original payment method. And if you've ever had a look at your flight ticket cost breakdown, you may be surprised to see that 20, 30, 40, even 50% of your ticket cost is made up from airport taxes and other fees. Check out the link in the description for more details on this change, as it's a big win for us travelers and only just announced by the DOT. It's easy to get frustrated with these airline staff secrets that seem like we passengers are always getting the short end of the stick. But it's important to remember that they're just following company rules designed to keep business costs down. And these airline rules and policies are going to impact the employees as well. For example, flight attendants only get paid for the time that they're actually flying, the time from when the plane's doors close at departure to when they open upon arrival. So the work that they do getting the cabin ready, boarding passengers, and dealing with delays at the gate typically goes unpaid. While it definitely seems unfair, it is a common practice across many airlines to help manage costs and keep the airline profitable. This next secret comes straight from airline baggage handlers, and it might change the timing of when you decide to check your next suitcase. If you check your bag too early before your flight, it might not be as secure as you think. Once your baggage is dropped off at the check-in desk, it often waits in a luggage hold area. If your flight is still hours away, your bag could be left unattended for extended periods of time. This can pose security risks or even lead to your luggage being misplaced or forgotten, especially if it's moved aside during sorting for other, more immediate flights. To minimize these risks, it's best to check your bag in closer to your flight time, typically within the airline's recommended 3 to 4 hour check-in window. This ensures that your luggage moves more directly through the system to your aircraft and reduces the time that it spends in less secured, unmonitored areas. Airline staff and flight attendants in particular also won't tell you just how much free stuff you can still get on the plane even if you happen to be flying with an economy ticket. I'll put a video on the screen now, as well as link it in the description for you to watch next, that reveals 17 things you can get for free on your next flight, assuming you know what to ask. I think you'll be surprised. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join us back here for weekly travel tips and hacks, and I'll see you in that next video soon. Bye.